Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into a highly cinematic, life-altering journey. We are going to completely transform your mindset from a place of scarcity and helplessness to total, unstoppable abundance. We're looking at some absolutely profound teachings from legends like Jim Rohn, Lewis Howes, and Jay Shetty, and we're using them to build a comprehensive, brilliantly bright blueprint for your life. Think of this like a full-scale demolition and rebuild. We're tearing down the old, faulty programming, pouring a rock-solid new foundation, and constructing a spectacular reality where you, and only you, are fully in control of your wealth, your happiness, and your future.
So, we're skipping the standard table of contents today and jumping right into the deep end with a really powerful question. What is your actual relationship with money? Like, really think about it. When you log into your bank app, pay a random bill, or even just think about your finances, does that story in your head bring you crushing anxiety, or does it bring you emotional freedom? Look, as Lewis Howes and Jay Shetty point out, if your nervous system immediately tightens up and you just feel this wave of scarcity and fear, it's literally impossible to attract true wealth. We have to shine a massive spotlight on this deep-seated relationship before we can ever hope to change it.
And honestly, that brutal realization is usually what kicks off the awakening phase of our blueprint. We're starting with Jim Rohn's incredible concept of disgust. Now, we usually think of disgust as a totally negative feeling, right? But here, it is the ultimate, most powerful catalyst for change you can experience. It hits you on that one specific day when you finally just refuse to accept mediocrity anymore. It's that visceral, line-in-the-sand realization where you stand up and declare, "I have had it. I am absolutely not living like this anymore."
To put that into perspective, imagine this scene Jim Rohn paints. A husband is watching his wife at the grocery store. She's agonizing over 2 cans of beans. One is 37 cents, the other is 39 cents. And this guy is just sick to his stomach, chilled to his core, because he knows his wife is going to buy the 37-cent brand that she doesn't even like just to save 2 miserable pennies. That 37-cent can is the trigger. That is the moment of pure, unadulterated disgust that makes a person say, "I'm done. I am done being on my knees in the dust." That one emotion can alter the entire trajectory of your life.
It's really the ultimate contrast between helplessness and helpfulness. Jay Shetty shared this amazing story about how, as a 14-year-old, he made just £2 per street delivering newspapers. And he internalized this incredibly heavy story that making money is just hard, agonizing work. But to break out of that helplessness, especially when you are literally starting from zero, you have to do a massive pivot entirely toward helpfulness. You have to stop focusing on your lack and start asking, how can I add intense value to other people? That mental shift, that is the true engine of generating wealth.
So that brings us right into Section 1, Tearing Down the Old, where we confront the 7 silent killers. Before we can construct your new life, we have a serious demolition job to do. Jim Rohn calls these specific attitude diseases the silent killers. We're talking about indifference, where you're just sort of drifting through your days. Indecision, which is total mental paralysis. Crippling worry, which can literally drop you to your knees. And overcaution, that timid, hiding-in-the-corner approach to life. Add doubt, pessimism, and complaining to the mix, and you've got what Rohn famously calls an economic cancer of the bone. You absolutely cannot build an abundant life if your foundation is rotting away with these 7 diseases.
Because here is the core operating system of your entire life. Beliefs dictate behaviors. Lewis Howes hits the nail on the head here. If you secretly hold on to this limiting belief that rich people do bad things, which, by the way, is a story Jay Shetty admitted he grew up with, that belief will automatically dictate your behaviors. You will subconsciously sabotage your own success, because deep down, you want to be a good person and you falsely equated poverty with virtue. If you believe wealth equals corruption, your own behaviors are going to keep you safely, comfortably, and permanently broke.
To cure that disease of scarcity, we move right into Section 2, Building the Foundation, by treating the mind as a factory.
We have to ruthlessly control the raw materials we feed into our mental factory. Jim Rohn uses this unforgettable, almost scary analogy of a cup of coffee to highlight how dangerous a toxic mindset really is. If someone drops sugar in your coffee, hey, you're fine. But if someone drops strychnine, a deadly, lethal poison, into your coffee, you're dead. And here's the absolute kicker. It doesn't matter if your worst enemy drops it in on purpose or if your well-meaning best friend drops it in by accident. The poison does its damage either way. It's the exact same with the media you consume, what you read, and who you listen to. You have to stand guard at the door of your mind because a mind fed on toxic trash is going to destroy your bank account.
I absolutely love this next idea because it's a massive paradigm shift.
Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. It's a blunt reminder that your income will rarely, if ever, exceed your level of personal growth. Think about it. If you're suddenly handed $1 million tomorrow, you better become a millionaire on the inside really quickly, or that money is going to vanish to match your current level of personal development. Success isn't just something you desperately chase, it's something you attract by the person you become.
And how do you actually become that person? It starts with generosity and gratitude. Even if you are completely broke, sleeping on your sister's couch like Lewis Howes once did, showing up with the currency of generous energy is the first secret step to true wealth. When you have literally $0 to your name, you still have the massive currency of your passion, your intense curiosity, and your joy. Bringing that infectious energy to others without constantly asking, "What's in it for me?" is the absolute, undeniable gateway to abundance.
Which leads us to this beautiful shift in perspective. Treat money like a highly respected VIP guest in your home. Jay Shetty talks about Lakshmi, the Indian goddess of wealth. In his culture, if you see a penny on the street, you don't just ignore it or step over it, you pick it up and respectfully touch it to your head. By literally picking up pennies and treating your finances, no matter how tiny they might be right now, with deep reverence and respect, instead of avoiding them or gossiping about how bad the economy is, you completely rewire your nervous system for abundance. Money goes where it is welcomed and respected. Period.
Now that we've totally rewired your relationship with wealth, we enter Section 3, erecting the frame, mastering the highly tactical art of asking.
Here's the truth. Success is not in short supply. It's not a tiny puddle. It is a vast, unending ocean. And you definitely, absolutely do not want to step up to the ocean of wealth carrying a tiny little teaspoon. If you do, the problem isn't the ocean, right? The problem is your failure to ask for more. You have to actively trade your teaspoon for a massive bucket.
So how do you trade that teaspoon for a bucket? You execute 2 vital steps. Step 1, ask intelligently. Don't just vaguely mumble to the universe. Define exactly what you want. How wide, how high, how soon, what color, how much, with the sharp, calculating intelligence of an adult. But step 2, you must ask with faith. You have to genuinely believe you're going to receive it with the unshakable, totally unquestioning faith of a child. Make your plans like a smart adult, but believe in them like a kid.
Okay, get this. There is a wild story behind this $4,000 figure. Lewis Howes decided to actually test this art of asking out in the real world with a social experiment. He set a firm intention, repeating to himself that money comes to him abundantly and freely. And he just started picking up dirty, discarded pennies in the freezing New York subway, audibly saying "thank you" every time. Well, one of those random pennies happened to be a rare 1945 wheat penny. He looked it up, and a similar one had literally just sold online for $4,000. It's definitive proof that when you actively, intentionally look for opportunities and ask with faith, the universe absolutely delivers, often hiding massive, incredible value right in plain sight.
All right, we've mastered the art of asking. Now we enter Section 4, the final polish. It is all about action and resolve. It's time to pull the trigger and turn all this potential energy into actual, tangible results. And this quote, it is a massive wake-up call. Affirmation without discipline is the beginning of delusion. It reminds us that, no, you cannot simply manifest millions of dollars while sitting comfortably on your couch doing nothing. Affirmation with discipline is miraculous, but affirmation without the discipline of acquiring new, valuable skills, that's just delusion. It's like walking west and desperately looking for the sunrise. You have to back up your big wishes with a serious, gritty game plan.
So let's look at 3 practical steps to actually change your life. First, find out how things work. Read the books, listen to the successful people, observe them closely, become a relentless, obsessive student of success. Second, go to work. Take massive action on the little, boring disciplines every single day. And third, don't beat the system. Don't try to slice it, don't cut corners, and stop looking for cheap life hacks. Just do it right, maintain your absolute integrity, and build a lasting, incredibly high-quality life.
And the superglue binding all this action together? That is resolve. Resolve is our ultimate weapon here. It was beautifully defined by a junior high school girl at one of Jim Rohn's seminars as simply the promise to keep trying until you succeed. Think about it for a second. How long do you give a baby to learn how to walk before you just shut them off and say, well, I guess they're not a walker? Any mother would say, you're crazy. They are going to keep trying until they learn. That is resolve. Promising yourself you will never, ever give up on your financial and personal freedom until you get there.
As we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a breathless crescendo of 4 profound questions. These are designed to challenge your very soul. Starting with the biggest one, why? Why put yourself through all this extreme effort? Why read all these books? Why develop new, difficult skills? Why face down your deep money trauma?
Well, the second question perfectly answers the first. Why not? You have to stay here on this earth until you go, right? So why not see exactly how far you can go? Why not see how many books you can read, how much you can actually earn, how much you can give away, and what kind of absolutely incredible life you can build? The third question gets deeply personal. Why not you? Countless other people have started with absolute zero, sleeping on couches, delivering papers for pennies, and they have climbed their own impossible mountains. So why shouldn't you be the one to enjoy the spectacular view from the top? Why shouldn't you be the one to travel the world, read the books, and experience true, overwhelming emotional and financial wealth? And finally, why not now? Seriously, stop postponing your better future. Don't wait for tomorrow to become the hero of your own cinematic movie. Change your beliefs, respect your wealth, pick up the bucket, and take your very first disciplined step today. I really hope this explainer has rewired your mindset. Keep building, keep growing, and as always, thank you so much for watching.